Good morning, respected members, our panelists, and viewers. I'm Trupti from Team CREDAI-MCHI with my co-host Charmi. Thank you for joining us today on the 21st episode of CREDAI-MCHI webinar, Key to Lockdown, powered by Deconic and Godavari Paints. The key to lockdown is staying connected. I take this opportunity to thank and express our gratitude towards everyone working at the front line and helping us stay safe. That is, our doctors, police forces, Swachhata workers, people providing us with continuous supply of food and milk, our volunteers, government officials, and everyone risking their lives for us. We are also glad to share that today the third depot or base in Mumbai MMR of mobile dispensary van Seva will be inaugurated in Mira Road, Virar at 10 a.m. These vans test patients for free of cost and also identify the suspects. This helps us fight the COVID war. Thank you so much. I request Aditya to please take over the screen now.
Thanks, Trupti. I'd like to wish everyone a good morning and welcome everyone to the 21st CREDAI-MCHI webinar, Strategic Approach to Digital Marketing. I'm very glad to welcome my dear friend Govind Rai here, the co-founder of Insomniacs, Blueprint and RealtyX. Govind has a very deep understanding of real estate marketing and digital marketing as a whole. I've known him for over 7-8 years now. We've worked together closely for almost 7 years now. He has a wealth of experience spanning over 10 years in real estate, consulting to leading real estate brands across Mumbai MMR. He has vast experience in how to run sales, how to run digital marketing. His company Insomniacs is probably one of the best companies to work with when it comes to digital marketing, spanning 4,800 crores of sales for all his clients till date. And his company runs on multiple media platforms spanning from the last 6 years. Few of the companies he works with are Hiranani Group, Ajmera Group, Rona Group, Mayfair Housing, and companies like this. So I would like to hand over to Govind and hope you guys get some great digital marketing insights from this session. Thank you. Govind, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Aditya, for a wonderful introduction. And Chami and Tripti, I believe, and the whole CREDAI-MCHI team is doing a wonderful job with all the initiatives. I can see Nayan sir also on the screen, and it's a pleasure to be on the on a CREDAI-MCHI platform to address the major concerns. I believe digital marketing is one of the topics and one of the subjects that that has always interested us, and real estate has seen a huge evolution in this space. And with all the due support, I believe, Aditya, I would initiate the talk and get started with the presentation.
Yes, please go ahead. After your presentation, we'll take some Q&A.
Yeah, so guys, before I get started, let me just tell you a few things. I believe in the presentation slide, I will be taking close to 45 to 50 minutes. The first 10 minutes of the presentation are going to be basic. I was asking the whole team yesterday that how should I really present this one. So what we have done is the first 10 minutes are going to be basics, and then we'll move towards few advanced insights. And the whole idea of this presentation was that if we could give you some live understanding of a few case studies, at the same time, if we could give you some actionable insights which you can implement in your day-to-day activities in this lockdown period, or maybe probably post that. And that was the whole idea about the presentation that we are going to do. And I've been told Aditya has created a few very important questions by the end of the whole discussion, which I believe should be giving the insights to all of you as well. So without any further ado, let me just share the screen. Aditya, confirm once you see the screen if it's coming all good.
Govind, I believe this is going to be your first session, and then you are going to have further sessions with us to train us, right? That's what
yes.
we had discussed.
So that's the discussion that we have had with the whole team, that if this discussion has been liked and things are going good, in the next week we have aligned one session with the Google team and one session with the Facebook team as well, so that their team will be coming on board on the platform in a similar way, and they'll be giving you some hands-on experiences, a few things, and the platforms are where you're not able to use it fully. We are only using Facebook and Google superficially to a very smaller extent, but there's so much of deep understanding that their team would love to share with us. So this session will have two more, sequels which you call, coming in after this one, where we will be taking you with the Google and the Facebook team as well.
Sure.
So now, without further ado, let me just share the screen. Guys, can you see the screen properly?
Yeah, Govind, your screen is live. We can see the screen.
Sure, guys. So let me get started in terms of the introduction. How do we see digital marketing at this point of space? So there are many variations or many ways that you can define digital marketing today. But in current context, for real estate, for us, from where we see it, I believe it's a real cure that we can have backed with technology. So backed with digital and the technology is the real emanation that all the real estate developers, real estate brokers can have at this point of time in the phase of Corona breakdown. At the same time, after the Corona epidemic gets to a halt, we are going to see a few changes into how we operate, the new normal that we call. There are going to be few changes. So in the first 10 minutes, let's try to see how digital has revolutionized the whole landscape of marketing and sales. We are going to be touching base on majorly on how in sales and marketing digital is playing a very key role. And before going forward, I believe this is the most important screen, which will keep coming again and again in our context and in our reference. So what you see here is how FMCG has defined a particular customer, buying cycle. So what we see that at any point of time, be it FMCG product or for even for homes, the first stage is always the stimuli, which is where people get to know about your brand or any product for the first time. And then before, in the history, what used to happen, if once they were sure about the product, they will go and buy it. And that's what we call the first moment of truth. And the next phase is called second moment of truth. The second moment of truth is exactly where, between the first moment and second moment, the kind of interaction your customers are having with your brand, which can result in word of mouth, which can result in referral, which can result in certain feedbacks. That was the history all about. In 2011, Google came out with a new stage into this cycle, and they call it zero moment of truth. The zero moment of truth, why? Because people across the planet Earth, not just in India, there was a new buying pattern that was being seen all across. People used to get an awareness from any platform, be it digital, outdoor, print, ambient, anything. They would go online and check about the same product. So similarly for real estate developers, no matter wherever that your product has been seen, be it outdoor or print, the customers are going to digital platform or they're searching about it. Based on the latest Google studies, close to 85% of the buyers today in India and globally are getting influenced by what they see on internet in terms of your reviews, in terms of your websites, in terms of your videos, and everything after they watch it, they make a understanding about what exactly your brand is going to be, and they would want to go to the first moment of truth or the next stage after that only. So this slide basically establishes that how come the whole industry has been revolutionized by whichever matter you are getting to know about your product, you are talking about it. Eventually, digital is the platform where people are going to come and going to do a background check. So moving further, I always prefer to set the tone by showcasing these two slides, which is a very important media shift that we have seen from 2015 to 2020. So this slide will give you a little bit of an idea that how exactly in 2015 the media buying patterns were in the real estate space. We have been mapping these media spends from quite a long time, and we believe we have monitored close to 300 crore odd worth of marketing spends on our platforms. And based on that, we are showcasing you these numbers. In 2015, we saw print having a very major chunk, actually more than 50% as well at many places, but this is the average sum that we have done. And on 2020, it has now gone down to 25 to 30%. Now, print expenditure is high because the platform as such is a high platform, but the biggest drastic change that we have seen is how digital was bought or digital is being bought today. So for any mid-level developer as well, or a mid-level, grade A, grade B developers, or even the brokers, we know how digital has transformed the whole landscape for them and how they're getting more leads. But what we have to really see is how the responses have changed. So previously, if you really see, though the response, the media buying pattern has shifted from 2 to 3% to 40% now in any. So if you're spending 1 crore or let's say 50 lakhs, 40% in today's time is actually on the digital side that is being bought for getting your leads, getting your awareness. But the responses are, the whole curve shifts a little more. And the 70% of the responses that you're getting today is the digital medium. So we, based on the first slide and this particular trend, which is the zero moment of truth, and this trend, we wanted to establish that whatever that we are going to be presenting today, digital already in real estate is being accepted. Now, the next slides that we are going to be going towards is going to talk about what exactly we are not doing and how exactly we should be approaching towards creating a holistic digital marketing campaign. So the most important element that from where we really start, right? What question you should ask before starting a campaign? So for most of the people, it's a very important space where you should really know what your goal is, right? Which is, if you are really going for lead generation, if you just want your brand awareness to happen, if you have a YouTube video, you just want that video to be propagated. The second aspect that really matters is, who's your target audience? Now, that is where the biggest insight that I would want to give to you. We have seen at many places that in a conference hall, we call 5-4 people and we ask, oh, how do you think that, which is the TG that we have at this particular place, right? And 4-5 people will gather together and they will say, sir, we believe this is the TG. Madam, we believe this is the TG. And eventually, based on the gut of few people, the whole target audience definition comes on the table. And all our strategies after that are based on exactly those 5, 6, 7, 8 people focus group insights. Now, that is where I would want to, change a few things. I would want to beg to differ here. The most interesting part that this still brings on table, what it brings is the data, right? If you're not able to use your data in the best manner, that is where, we go for, the whole strategy can go for a toss. So majorly 2 things that I will suggest you here now. When you're focusing on creating your target group, remember one thing, the government officials are making all the leave and licenses agreements and the registration agreement of any property home buying, as public, they are making it available in public domain. So there are many platforms who are studying this particular data and they're creating analytics based on this. So suppose your project is starting somewhere in Khar, or let's say your project is starting somewhere in Borivali. You can always go back, check those platforms and find where exactly in your competitors, what time they did the booking, how many bookings have happened. When the bookings happen, where are these people residing? Where did the people come from? So all these insights with regards to your competition study and the catchment study will give you a great insight in terms of how you're defining your target audiences. It would be much more than how you make your decision on the basis of gut. The next part that I had to mention, Facebook, Google, or many other platforms right now are also providing some insights based on what they have been doing. So over a period of time, once you start burning some money on these platforms, you will be getting good amount of insight from these platforms itself. And the data that you will be churning out, you will be able to find the new subsets and new data points to understand where the customer exactly is lying for you today. So define your TG strategy based on these data. The next part is simple in terms of what is the key communications message that you want to give. Now here, very interesting things comes in where you have to be very thorough that, what kind of communication that you're going to do. A lot of people keep asking, is affordable, mid-segment, luxury, the same kind of strategies can work? Definitely not. In a nutshell, if you have to brief, then if you're going for an affordable housing, and that kind of project has to be marketed, you have to be very sure how you are positioning your pricing for that particular location. So just if you want a lot many leads for your particular projects, we have always told all our clients that, you should go with agreement value price. If you are looking at less number of leads that are coming your way because you have a lesser call center people at the back end, you should be going with all-inclusive pricing, because between these 2 prices itself, the whole quality of the leads and at the same time the responses, they both change. Now, in the next of the slides, we will be discussing quality in detail. The 4th stage that we see in terms of defining the target audience is what is the budget, and duration of the campaign also matters. Most of the times we start with 1 or 2 lakh on digital and then we just pause it. I believe, dear friends, it's very important that you give your digital campaigns a little bit of a sustenance. If nothing less than 60 to 90 days, eventually, if it has to perform, this kind of time span is always needed because you have to continuously optimize and observe the patterns. How exactly you do it in a few slides next, we will be coming to those aspects. Now, this is a quick slide that I will visit. You should be knowing what you are setting your campaign for. As I had mentioned that you should know about the objective. So this is the detail about how do you really set your campaign. So if you want to do a brand awareness campaign, I would suggest, a YouTube medium. If you have a video, Google ads that you get, the remarketing via your website. Those are the great platforms for brand awareness. For lead generation, there's for each and every segment, mid segment, affordable, luxury. There are different platforms that you can cater to, which we'll be studying in detail in the next slides. The traffic, if you just want traffic on your platform like AppNexus and others are available where you just get traffic, but they are not value traffic. Similarly, for the video views, if you're going for, you should know TikTok, YouTube are picking up, TikTok is picking up well. YouTube have always been there. Registration, just the way, this seminar has been attended by, so many people. So registration is one of the objectives that can happen, and it has a different kind of a setting. And there are few platforms like Facebook. It has one of the most effective way and algorithms for registrations kind of campaigns, with the objective of having registrations done for a particular forum or particular event, or maybe right now we are taking EOIs. So in that particular fashion. Going further, the next slide is two questions that I wanted to put, because these are the very normal questions that we have always seen that come our way. Now, why should I not rely upon traditional medium? And in short, why digital? So we just give a 3 words answer here, which is the cost per lead for your digital medium is always going to be low. So just to give you an example, that if a 50 lakh print ad is going to come, a 500 number of calls would be something that we'll be very excited about. But the similar in the 50 lakhs, you can churn a lot amount of leads on the digital medium. And similarly, the site visit cost that you eventually get, or the per booking cost that you eventually get, is always going to be lower. How? We will be discussing it in the case studies. Now, the second part is you can always customize your communication. I will put a little bit of emphasis on how and why to customize your communication. So, dear friends, it's very important that just like previously in traditional medium, what we used to do, we used to decide that, one statement, that Govind Rai is the best. And then we believe that this is the communication, we'll take it on outdoor. And then the same communication will go on print. But digital works a little differently. If you really want to get effective output out of your digital campaign, remember one thing: creating a master communication and rolling that out is always not a great strategy. The right strategy is you should keep doing some kind of iterations. When I say iterations, that means you should have 3 to 4 different kind of communications, and then you should see which communication is doing better, which color is doing better, which language is doing better. Is Marathi doing good? Is Gujarati doing good? Is English doing good? Is Hindi doing good? Because based on the languages also, your performance will drastically change. Now, these customizations are not possible on any other platform. Similarly, I knew a few campaigns we were rolling out just before COVID, and the COVID started, the whole breakdown happened, and we saw that outdoors and the print that we bought, the whole money went for the toss. Digital though, we can always pause whenever that we want to. The expenses are always in control and in your hand. The second question that I come across is, why not Magic Bricks and 99 Acres? My digital strategy is just that. So our answer is, these platforms are great. You should always have it, but as a mix, backed by your own initiatives as well. You can't just rely upon these leads, because eventually few organic people who go and search on these platforms, those leads will be coming your way, but they will be coming your competitors' way also. And at the same time, the lead cost eventually is going to be much different. So just to give you an example, at this phase, what we have seen in COVID phase, at any point of time, cost per lead, if it was coming at 1,000 rupees, now they are coming at 300 rupees. There is a 60-70% of drastic fall in terms of how people are getting, at what cost the CPLs are coming. That means if you are receiving your EOI via your digital campaign, the cost of acquisition of your customers are also drastically going down. Now, the next slide is a quick slide. From here on, we will go a little bit of a detail in terms of insights that are needed for you to plan your campaigns in a better manner. So these are the 4 stages that everyone keeps talking about in the real estate, So I will not going to go in the detail about how these stages operate. What I'm going to talk about it, what are the problems that we really face in these stages? So at the awareness level itself, the poor creative or your lack of clarity in terms of the thoughts that you are putting is going to be a big problem. So a lot of times we believe that a lot of people have started digital initiatives, but it has not yielded great results. Now, there are majorly 2 reasons to it. One reason if you are creating leads and you're not creating funnels of all the leads, you're not storing the data in the right manner, you do not have the right technology to back the digital efforts of yours, you will always see fluctuations in your results. You will never be able to map the real outcomes. In the same way, the other output that really changes the whole phenomena and affects it is how creatives are being made, how the communications are being done. A communication which says 1.2 CR, 2 BHK, 3 BHK, 4 BHK, 1.2 CR starting price. For a digital platform, it's actually a confused communication. We always would ascertain this based on the multiple testings that we have done. If you have a communication, do a 2 BHK communication on one communication, 3 BHK on a different communication. You will have two different sources of leads coming in. They will be bifurcated at the very beginning stage. But at the same time, the customers who will be actually showcasing their interest, they will not be the confused people. So I will not quote the branding right now, but I'll just give an example. There was a campaign that we were doing in Mulund, a very affordable housing project that was coming, which was coming at 44 lakhs. And we had a 4 weeks window before they were going to do an ATL campaign on that. We went to the developer and we said that if we have to do good in the 4-week window itself, then even if in print and outdoor medium you're quoting agreement value of 44 lakhs, that's totally fine. But we will go out and do our communication at 54 lakh all inclusive. So the developer asked, why is that so? So we answered them that the only reason is because a 44 lakh agreement value price, when you promote it, the digital audiences are always up for a discounting scheme, because that's how digital has been operating. Their mindsets are such that, oh, this Bose speaker is at 70,000, now I'm going to get it at 50,000, I want discount. So the digital psyche is also it has a little bit of a trigger of other segments as well. So we told him that if you're going to be promoting a 44 lakh product, people will believe that maybe I can negotiate it for 40 lakhs and I'll get it. But when those people will come on site, they will realize, oh, it is not a 40 lakh product, it's actually a 54 lakh product. So for a 40 lakh audience, a 14 lakh jump is going to be a very huge phenomenon. So at that point of time, we wanted that if we just showcase 54 lakhs, so all the people who will be interested, they will be qualified, they will be real leads, and eventually the possibility of conversions are going to be higher, because we have a very less window before to market on digital before you open all the other sources. The strategy was quite a successful one. We actually saw 18% ratio in terms of leads to site visit, and 14% in terms of site visit to closure. Now that is how you have to be very sure about what you are planning and how you're communicating things. Similarly, one of the important insight I will give you on this slide is, if your leads are coming, we have tested it. If the leads are called within 5 minutes of the leads being obtained, those are the most effective practices that you will have in the digital marketing. Within 5 minutes, the possibility of closure of a customer from them picking up the call and talking to you and maybe converting into a hot lead would be 40% higher than a lead being called on the next day. So these are the insights on this particular slide I wanted to keep. Now a few questions that why and how digital is important. The only way we want to summarize it, and we love to summarize it, it's basically how data is interpreted. Now that's where I will spend 1 more minute exactly on this particular topic, data. You got to understand, previously when we were operating on print medium and outdoor medium, there was no data that we could actually fetch. You definitely didn't know that where the audiences are coming from. So there's a series of hoardings at Bandra Worli ceiling, and people are watching that ad and they're calling us. We just know that, okay, this is where the call came from, this is where people are interested, but we do not know much about it. But in digital medium, we get to know a lot more about a customer. In terms of where is he coming from, we can get to know, what kind of psychological behavior that did he have, and a lot many things in the similar fashion. Guys, excuse me here. I will just. Yes. Now going forward to the next slide. What you see here is now why and how digital is to be used. We have tried to create a few screenshots for you to showcase that how a digital campaign has to be really worked out. What you see here now is settings that we do in terms of knowing our target audience in the best possible manner. So as I was explaining in the last slide, you can define your customer audiences and you can know what insights are working. Now here, I would also want to give you an insight of how really digital marketing operates and why exactly a few campaigns do good and few campaigns do not do well. So I will give you an example of a classic well example that we call internally. So imagine Bombay is a series of wells, well as in Kuma, and there are 100 frogs in each and every well that you have. Now, you should know, imagine these wells are actually the pin codes that we have in Bombay. Now, when that is happening, you should always know that every project has their own target audiences, and you do not really know which well to target. That's where Facebook gets to know, and it gives you an idea based on their past behavioral pattern that they believe that there are few set of customers in well number 1, there are few set of customers in well number 3, there are few customers in well number 10, and let me show your ads to them based on the details that you fill in, that what is your target audience in terms of their age, their profession, their preferred language to talk. On all these multiple bases, you can always define your customer audiences, and that is where Facebook will be coming in and will be helping you with those kind of insights at the time of settings, and also based on the response it gets. Now, why these things are important? Because it changes your quality ratio. If you know YouTube well, the most interesting phenomena that happens there is, if you have to run a video and you want more views, you can just in the setting, you can go and you can put the setting as global, and you do not mention the target audience, you do not mention anything, keep it a broad setting. The next morning you will wake up, you will have lakhs and lakhs of views, and you will be a happy person, that, okay, we did good. But is that the reality? You should know, when you keep the targets very much broad and very much open, what happens is those videos are actually viewed, and that's why the numbers are shown on YouTube. But those videos are being watched somewhere in Bangladesh click farm house, right? Where these click farms are continuously kicking and your videos are coming. They are not even your relevant audience. And that's the reason the more targeted approach that you will have in your campaign settings, lesser number of people that ad is going to go to, but the more effective people it's going to meet to. And that's the reason the cost per lead of those leads are always going to be higher. That's also a reason why an affordable housing and a luxury housing, the cost per leads are drastically different. Why for an affordable housing, you can get a cost per lead for 100 to 200 also. And that's the reason why a luxury housing, the cost per lead comes as high as 2,000 and 3,000 as well. So these are the reasons why and how things actually operate. But all these insights, once you're setting up your campaign on Facebook and Google, you will get to know. With our other series of Google and Facebook, we will go and showcase you these settings in more detail, how to read the data and how to actually set your campaigns on these platforms. So the next part is the thing that I was already talking about. These are the parameters that you can actually choose your customer audiences upon, in terms of the affinity, in terms of the market audience, in terms of what kind of behavioral patterns they have, what is the incomes they have, what kind of interest they will have. So a luxury buying audience will always have an interest that they will be searching for luxury travels, they will be searching for luxury cars, they will be searching for luxury yachts, and series of such activities. Similarly, a college student can be targeted in a particular manner. A person who is a mid-segment audience will be having a particular lifestyle, particular ways, particular content to consume, and you can actually target them with the basis of these particular targetings and these particular understandings. You can also target the profession, as I mentioned, the language, which website, which channels to go to. So these are the few things that we have tried to summarize here in terms of where exactly you can go to. Now, one very important insight that we wanted to give also in this slide, which is Google business. Now, most of the times you run your campaigns and your projects are not actually owned by you on the Google. So your Google My Business account is a very important account. So if you have any project, let's say in Powai, or you have one project in Bandra, if you're not owning your own locations, the probability is for a period of time, you're losing out on a certain feedbacks that can come your way, leads that can come your way. Most of the times, these listings are taken up by maybe your channel partners, maybe someone else. But our suggestion would be always try to own your Google My Business pages, because one of the very interesting insight that we have found that you can actually keep getting is where and how the customers are searching for you. in terms of you have run a campaign in Powai today, and you know that there are close to 1,000 searches that have happened today, and out of the 1,000 searches, 500 people have gone on GPS to search for that exact location, and you will get to know via that this platform, that where did they actually start from. So that customers of yours started coming from Thane or from Borivali or from Andheri, you will get to know, and you can over a bit of time create those subsets which will help you understand your TG even better in terms of where are they coming from. This Google business data also helps us buy the right, or to buy the right outdoor strategy as well, because once we get to know which are the heat maps, how the heat maps are showcasing, and which are the most preferred taken routes, we plan our outdoor strategy also on the same basis. So this was the insight that I wanted to give. Now coming to a very important topic, which is quality ratio. In our conversation, I have talked about cost per lead, I have talked about cost per booking, I've talked about cost per site visits, and how digital helps in putting it down. Now, this is a very important question for all the business leaders who are listening, because when you're doing a campaign, as I said, that it is very important, you should know about your objective. You want quality leads, or you want a lot many leads, and it's okay, the quality is not there, but you want the awareness to be there. Now, digital also helps you that, if you have multiple projects, today you are creating lead generation for a 2 crore project, and a lot of people are coming who are saying, sir, mera to 1.5 crore ka budget hai, I have only 1.5 crore budget. Now, for now, this particular leads are actually waste. But maybe 6 months down the line or 1 year down the line, you have a project which will be coming into the same bracket. At that point of time, these people you can reach out to if you have the right platform to back your digital campaigns. As I said, the technology, if you have in terms of CRMs, and there are many LMSs that are present, you should have a strong backing of it. Now, when you have the right CRM and LMS, this data also plays a very important role. So one of our places, we were running a campaign into a mid-segment zone. And when we started the campaign, we realized our initial estimates were that we will get the leads at 400 rupees. But when we started the campaign, we got the leads at 100 rupees. And we were all happy partying till the time the clients called us, almost 10 days back. And he said, there's a problem and there's a concern. We are not getting good amount of, quality from your campaigns. And we are not able to get many site visits. And it's been 2 weeks now. So there's some problem, guys, fix it. So we revisited the phenomena and we realized there was a problem. Now, the problem was not, coming from the way our strategy was done. The problem was coming in the basis of how data was being read. So when I say how data was being read, the most important element that you have to understand here is when I'm churning 400 rupee cost leads, let's say we are churning 1,000 leads, right? But when we churn 100 rupee leads, we are churning 2,000 leads, right? As of now, we have churned only 2,000 leads. So the problem is, if in the basic digital campaign, we always keep a check on quality ratio. In luxury segment, the quality ratio operates between 15 to 20%. In mid segment, it operates between 18 to 22%. In affordable segment, it operates between 20 to 24%. So if every 100 leads, we churn, if 20 to 24 leads are saying that, we actually read your ads, right? We know about your budgets and we know where the project is. These three major parameters, if these three parameters are reached, we consider that lead qualified. So for luxury project, we have seen that the ratio, again, I'll repeat, it's between 15 to 18%. Out of every 100 lead, 15 to 18 people will know exactly what you're talking about. They read the whole, details properly. And in affordable segment, the whole ratio changes from 20 to 22%. Now, why this is important? Because most of the times when we run a campaign, we always get boggled by the number that, digital is giving cheaper leads, but then quality is not there. But you got to understand, if print 50 lakh ad was giving you 500 leads, digital may give you 5,000 leads. But all you have to look at is, out of the 500 leads, if 50 site visits happen, there's a probability from digital 50 lakhs campaign, you would be getting close to 200 site visits. Now you have to always compare which is an effective medium. So that's the reason you should have a CRM or LMS which backs your ROI driven mapping as well, which tells you at any point of time, if you spend a particular amount, how much really is the ROI on CPL basis, on cost per site visit basis, and a cost per booking basis. The acquisition cost from the digital will always be 1/2 or 1/3. That is the basic standard that we have seen so far based on the campaigns that we have done compared to a print advertising ROI or an outdoor ROI. Now, going forward, 3 insights more, which is always when you're setting up a campaign, if you can set a few questions, set of 3 questions, 5 questions, you put the banner, but when a customer is submitting the lead, you can ask 2 or 3 questions more. That what is your budget? Are you aware about the location? When you ask these 2 questions, the probability is the qualification ratio will always go high because you are reiterating the same communication that you are doing in your advertising campaign. But when a customer sees it and they back it up, that means customers have already seen the results properly and they have seen what your communication is. The probability of conversion is going to be high. Now, one more important thing, which is a little bit of a different insight than digital. Whenever that you're doing a digital campaign, if you're backing it up with the right channel partner strategy in terms of them being aware, in terms of them being active, in terms of they activating their usual network, and as well as if you're activating one more media, maybe outdoor media in the local level. So I'm not saying you should be operating outdoor all across the Mumbai city, but within the 2 kilometers, 3 kilometer periphery, if you have your outdoor presence, we have always seen this kind of strategy is always a winner. And whenever digital is backed by one more medium at least, the performance and the conversions are always higher. I'm not saying you cannot go alone and digital cannot be a lone wolf. It is a lone wolf and it can be a lone wolf. But when supported with a pack, it does wonders at times. So you should always experiment, and that's our insight here. Now, before moving to the case studies, I will just briefly summarize the mobile aspect of it and the mobile fiction. You should always know that today your audiences actually most of the times are on the mobile. 80 to 85% times, if they're interacting with your microsites, if they're interacting with your websites, they will be on their mobiles. So when you're making your websites and microsites, if you're not keeping a tab on how it looks on mobile, trust me, there's something wrong. And many places we have seen the usual psychological behavior where the website is meant to be seen on desktop. We still see each and everything on desktop. But gone are the days when your customers were actually coming on your website via their desktop. Now it's all mobile browsing. So if your communications are not sorted, if your mobile compatibility is not sorted for the mobile, trust me, this is where you can always improve. At the same time, how you make your communications is also important. So any communication which is meant for print media, trust me, that is not the exact right communication that you can use in the WhatsApp or on Facebook. These all platforms have their own aspect ratios, and you should always try to know and try to adapt your communication based on the sizes. At the same time, based on the communications that would suit the particular medium. When I say communication suiting the particular medium, to give an example, we recently tried TikTok as a medium for affordable housing. We've got great results. It's very surprising, but it was now only when we really went about and checked TikTok. For affordable housing, it's working very well. We are not yet experimented on mid-segment, so I will not comment upon it. But in affordable, we tried one set of communication, which was a very serious one, which had the typical, the clouds moving, the birds chirping, and our elevation coming up. It met with a great response. Now, when we're changing it to something different, which is more TikTok-like, the responses are even getting better. Now, that's where the whole insight comes in. Wherever that you are, try to customize your communication to that platform. It is not really important that what you believe is right. The data will always be different. Every channel has their own insight. Try to use it as much as possible. These are few creatives that we have tried to showcase in terms of how the video ads look, how the lead generation ads look, how a story looks, and then how your carousel ads or your, different communication representing multiple products at one go can actually look like. So you should always know these parameters in terms of the creatives well and plan your strategies accordingly. Now, during the lockdown, we'll just summarize. Remember one thing, this is a great time actually if you're going out and you have the right tools to use it. You can always use it. These are the platforms that you are using maybe already, which are the virtual tools. You are already doing the 360-degree drone shoots. If you have not done, you have already ordered for it. But remember one thing, this is a good time if you are into mid-segment and affordable. For luxury, I will talk about it a little later. But for mid-segment and affordable, this is a good time to actually, if you have the visuals and collaterals ready, You can go out, showcase your prospects, engage with your customers, and garner as many responses as you can in terms of EOI. EOIs in terms of expression of interest with 25,000 rupees transaction are actually a truth. It's happening. Customers are engaging. Yes, there were 100 customers before. Now there are only 50 customers left in the market. But there are customers. You can always engage with them because this is a right time. As I said in the beginning itself, if a lead was coming at 1,000 rupees previously, it's coming at 300. So yes, the customers are less, but at the same time, the mediums that you're going to be using to acquire them is also lesser, and thus the cost of acquisition is also lesser. So in a way, if you have effective collaterals, if you have an effective set of communication and your team is ready, engage with them in the virtual manner. Today, many platforms are getting done, and you should have those platforms tested in. The virtual walkthroughs are no more about AnyDesk and TeamViewer. There are platforms which are available which does two-way interactions. Your customers do not have to download any software. Automatically on Chrome browser, this platform can interact with your customers. You can know very well where your customers are while your salesperson is showcasing the prospect. Your customers will be browsing in a kitchen. His wife is browsing in somewhere in the bedroom. And as a sales manager, you will know that where they're browsing exactly, and you can turn your pitch accordingly. So what we see here is, though these virtual platforms are kicking in right now, but they are going to stay. Previously, our home buying cycle was all about first the lead used to come, then we used to call them, then the site visit used to happen, maybe the repeat site visit and the booking. Now, the new way would be after the leads will come, the calls would happen. People will want to come to site visit, but maybe, which is a huge maybe, where they will now request to do virtual walkthroughs. And maybe if they are planning for 15 homes or 10 homes to visit before they book one, they may try to filter 5 or 7 homes at the virtual visit level itself. Because the virtual levels can save a lot of time for them. They will understand the prospects well. They can see the live demo tomorrow in terms of where the project status are. So these platforms, in terms of how virtually you're going to be getting yourself ready, is going to be playing a very important role. Because the whole pre-sales definition is going to change. Your typical call center guys who are behind the calls no more can handle these interfaces. These interfaces can only be handled by those people who are very smart, who will be able to engage. They are as good as your salespeople. Maybe they're your salespeople only. So these are the changes that are going to come pretty soon into the way we operate. Now, the two things before we hit the case studies are these two slides. What you see in this slide is the problem with our current understanding of data. So most of the digital marketeers, when you meet them or you interact with them, they believe Google Analytics is everything, and we are getting Google Analytics. That means everything is covered into this particular aspect. Our suggestion would be we have to dig deep. Data has to be understood properly. When we make these statements that, okay, I have 2 lakhs data, 1 lakh data, we got to understand this data is of no use if the data is not structured well. So when I say data is not structured well, what am I supposed to mean here? So most of the times when we track any activity on Google Analytics, the whole data is coming from the digital world itself to one center point, which is basically my website. But there are so many actions now that are happening beyond the website and beyond the digital world. There's no way that you can track your physical activity, how a channel partner really engaged, how a particular event on site really changed your dynamics. So those numbers are not going to be reflecting. And that is the difference between multi-touch attribution and automated marketing mix modeling. So multi-touch attribution is basically what Google Analytics is. And marketing mix modeling is an automation platform where all your other activities from all across all the channels are actually aggregating at one place. So we have been trying to build this system for a very long time. Just to give you a little bit of information, what you see in the blue background is what that has already been existing. These kind of data with your CRM and LMS is something that you have been tracking. We predict that in going forward, the whole CRM gamut is going to be drastically changing. In US, we are already seeing this phenomena. There are so many platforms available in the CRM space, but the customers are asking for more because they will have to seek more information. So what you see on the left-hand side is our one tool that we use for site management. On site, when people come, how do they engage, what data that we extract with them. We try to increase our lead funnel. We just do not want to talk about what's your phone number, sir, what's your email ID, sir. We want to know more. What do we want to know more? We want to know more in terms of how many family members does he have, how many, what was the last time that he shifted his home, where exactly is he coming from, is he on rent, when is he on, already living in his own apartment. Now, when these informations are taken, most of the times these informations are taken, but you do not do anything with them. When I say you do not do anything with them is, have you really digitized this? So the platforms of future are going to be ensuring your each and every lead funnel. So we have a name, let's say Mr. Preetham. Mr. Preetham is coming to our site. We are just talking about phone number and email IDs. But imagine if we knew a little more about him, and that data could travel along in the whole journey. Now there are two ways to look at it: a short term and a long term. Going forward, all the major players, we believe the grade A developers at least, and I believe even grade B developers, everyone, people who are doing 100 crore turnovers and above, they will need to have these two strategies, a short term and a long term. The short term is the one where you map the data exactly for now, basically where the customers are actually coming from. That will give you an insight that, okay, maybe our next set of customers can lie there in different catchment area, which we're not touching. The second long-term strategy is, if how many people this customer has, what is his buying potential, if you can observe his behavioral pattern over a period of time in terms of, let's say, 3 years, 4 years, we will have a possibility that whenever this guy is ready to upgrade, potential is he will upgrade with you only. So can you track this kind of behavioral patterns over a period of time and be that patient as well, where you can play not a 1 year or 2 year game, you're playing a decade long game to be in the market for a very long time. The whole strategy has to change. As I said, a short term is needed because of course we need to survive. The whole industry has to face a huge battle, but a long term strategy as well is going to help you, not you, maybe the next generations that are going to come for your company, all of them. So the steps that you will be using for the foundation today will help you in the long run. Now, the platform of future, we believe, is going to be something like this, where we have showcased in the white background how each and every data set has to come to one central repository, and how on that basis whole activity will be changed for the future. So your site management informations in terms of phone number and email ID, you're getting more information of the customer. The same information is going forward into the lead funnel till the time he doesn't book. And maybe after he books, after your booking also, are you tracking your customer at all? You just leave them to be. But the future is, after ERA has come in, you are already delivering on your promises. You want to be in the good books of your customers. You may have to do a lot much more efforts. And that's where your referral activities and everything will play an important role. And that's the reason the channel partner engagement as well, in terms of how and who is doing better with you. All those information, with the help of artificial intelligence and machine learning, if you're able to find insights and work upon it, your whole efforts will be much more optimized. You will be saving a lot of money on your marketing campaigns, and you will be increasing your team efficiencies also. Now, in the last few minutes, I will be, before I give the session to the moderator to ask the Q&A, I will be now touching upon a few case studies based on everything that I talked about. So, starting with, so basically 3 case studies I wanted to present to take it. One in the mid segment and the little premium, semi-premium. One is affordable, and one in luxury. Luxury is where I will focus a little bit more, because that's something I believe is an important topic for us today. So Hiranandani, right now, if you would have seen in the COVID period itself, we have been doing multiple campaigns with them and for them. They have created a platform called hirandaniOffers.com, where they have tried to accumulate each and every offering together, and they're offering a 0.5% benefit. Now, why this example? Why it is very important for you to know that almost 30% of the brand searches that happens on Google for them, the potential of conversion for all those searches is sitting at 20%. We have seen a new trend where how, when we started working with them, that how a brand plays a very important role in getting a particular traction towards closure as well. So typical digital marketing campaign, we use Facebook, Google, native other platforms, but we have seen a huge amount of searches on the brand name coming in, going to the website themselves and filling the data and their information by the customers on the website itself. Now, for any other developer also, this is a very regular phenomena, but we have seen with them almost every month, 30% of the leads are coming in this particular format. And there, the closure ratios, which we confirm as 10%, which is from number of leads generated, the site visit sits at 10%. which is a thumb rule, and from site visits to lead to conversion is at 10%. We see between the leads and the site visits, the number sits at 20%, and the 20% ratio continues from site visit to booking as well. Now, that's something is a very interesting phenomena for you all to understand, that how building a brand also is very important. So if you have 1 rupee budget, always give 20% towards building your brand as well, if you have to be here and play a long-term game in terms of how you're projecting yourself into the customer psyche. The second case study is Affordable's case study, where how it is showcasing that in just 21 days, there's a latest campaign done by us, where the cost of acquisition from digital came at only 28,000 for a 50 lakh rupee bracket, housing project, which basically talks about that within 21 days, 780 walk-ins were done just via the digital sources, which really is a testimony that in terms of the cost of acquisition and site visit cost, how things are changing in today's time and how they're the most effective medium. Now, you will say that in affordable and mid segment, digital is definitely playing an important role. What's new, guys? So let me come to my important slide here. What do you do when you have a project above 4 CR? What do you do when you have a project going above 5 CR? Is digital really effective? Can we really sell? This is the last slide of my presentation, and I'll take exactly 4 to 5 minutes to explain this one. Guys, I'll be honest there. So far, for us as well, we have been dealing with mid-segment and affordable for the first 3.5 years of our existence. Last 1.5 years, 2 years, when we felt that we're prepared to handle the luxury segment, we entered into the market. We have a few set of clients in terms of Peninsula, which we have done a Bangalore project for them, Spenta, One Avrigna. While working with them, we realized we definitely knew the theory part of it, but in practical, there are a few things which changed for us. So what exactly changed? What are the insights that we got? So the insights are here, my dear friends. Is digital, if you are running an affordable housing project under 30 to 40 lakh rupees, we can point blank tell you, allocate your 80% budget towards digital side, and trust me, you will not regret it until and unless you are selling your home at a premium. So if a particular area says the price is 5,000 square feet in affordable or 6,000, and you're selling at 7,000 or 7,500, then that strategy is a little different. But if you're selling it at competitive pricing, rest assured with just 80% of your marketing budgets towards digital, you can get to your target. Similarly, in the mid-segment offering between 80 lakhs to 1.5 CR, if you have a media mix where digital is your 50-60%, the probability is with the right tools and right content, you will be having a winner strategy in terms of giving weightage of 50 to 60% to digital. But luxury, my dear friends, is a very different cakewalk. Why? The reason is we definitely have seen success here, but it takes its own time. So I'm not talking about any campaign which is into the launch phase. Launch phase, we have done campaigns. One Avigna, there was a launch that happened where a huge amount of inventory, more than 150 inventory was sold within no time. It was priced right. But what we are talking about is sustenance phase. That's very important because launch phases, you can put the price in your favor and reach out to a larger audiences. What I'm showcasing here is a sustenance phase strategy. For anything about 4 CR and above, you got to always understand digital will not be the only effective medium. Just the way with the Gatso I mentioned that mid-segment and affordable, it is the only medium and you don't have to think twice. You will get success. On the luxury side, there's a lot more. The channel partner element cannot be taken away, and it's one of the most strongest points that remains, not just in India, but even in US and Dubai markets as well. Yesterday, I was having a discussion and a chat with MR, international sales head, and the feedback that we received from Dubai market as well was a similar thing, where digital over a particular bracket, it's still not delivering the kind of results it should have been delivering. But with that, should I say that it is not an effective medium at all? No, dear friends, the problem is you're not trying the right things. Facebook and Google is not the right strategy all the times when you talk about the luxury segment. We have seen a lot much of traction happening from the native advertising. So native advertising is basically your content displays when you're reading a news. Bottom, you get a few suggestions in form of news only, which are the content suggestions. They are driven by platforms called Taboola, Outbrain, Columbus. Now, these platforms basically make sure that you guys are reading something and they're suggesting about your home in a very interesting manner. So your strategy has to be, you have to be present at native platforms. We have seen with Peninsula, in a sustenance phase, we had done close to, for a 5 crore, unit in Bangalore. We did close to, 4 bookings out of this platforms. So similarly, the cost of acquisition remains same. What we showcase here at Medius, we have at Spenta, 2 BHK homes, we sold 7 units in 60 days span, which were 5 crore and above. Where the acquisition cost is the most important, guys, where we did the acquisition at only 2 lakhs. So this particular project was, being done previously in a different manner. We got in when we took over this particular movement. That is what we created, and we mentioned by the time we took it, a lot of the inventories were already sold. The whole thing is the cost of acquisition, where we actually changed the whole dynamic. So now this particular client shifted more of their budgets towards the digital side. Similarly, on One Avigna, the new campaigns are coming at much more larger span in terms of focusing only on digital. But in terms of real estate, luxury housing, it is still evolving. What you are not using right now is the native platform in the best manner, and the most underutilized platform for digital, which US and Dubai and other luxury segments are using, is a programmatic advertising. Now, programmatic advertising itself is a big, huge topic. We'll touch upon it one of the sessions when we go with Google and Facebook. What I wanted to also tell you is you should have a great content play in terms of how visualization is coming in. And YouTube and Instagram has also helped us garner a great amount of responses in terms of how we are visually looking out. But yes, if you're looking at a smaller 30 days window to sell your luxury projects and get the leads, the lead costs are going to be a little higher, but it will not be a successful venture. You should always have in sustenance phases a minimum 3 to 4 months window. It will contribute to your story. It will not contribute to 50 to 60%, but 20 to 25% share into your digital strategy in terms of responses and selling as well is going nowhere. So this is how I would want to summarize my today's case studies, guys. Let me know now if you have any queries. Would be happy to take them. And Aditya, over to you.
Thank you, Govind. I think that was a very insightful session. All of our members, I'm sure, were very happy to hear what you have said, and will pick up a lot of points to implement in their own marketing campaigns going forward. So thank you so much for that. So basically, the gist I pick up is digital gives us a lot of gives us a wealth of insights into the customer, while and a lot of data about the customer, while also keeping our costs in mind and giving us the power to run our campaigns as and when we please, compared to other mediums where we are bound by a specific time or a specific cost.
Absolutely.
Basically. So picking up where you left off, Govind, you said that today digital marketing is not very effective when it comes to 5 crore plus. So I have a question regarding that, where today, after the post-COVID era, do you still see this trend continuing, or do you see that a pickup happening where it comes to 5 crore plus or higher ticket size when it comes to digital marketing?
So Aditya, I never said that, for 5 crore plus, digital is not the right strategy. Rest assured, it is going to pick up. See, you got to understand, digital as a platform is continuously evolving. Over a period of time, the problem is the regular mediums that we use, Facebook and Google, they may not be the best sources for targeting the luxury segment. I will give you an insight that, we have a project we have executed in 4 crore plus bracket in Ville Parle, where we have got site visit cost at only 18,000 rupees, right? So it's an effective way also. There is no denial there. But the conversions is where we have seen that, the numbers in terms of site visit, definitely we have seen that kind of attraction. But what the numbers that we get in terms of velocity and the quantity in this in affordable and in mid segment, it's not the same kind of thing that we can see in luxury, but it is because of the sheer proportion of numbers, to be very honest, right? For a 20 crore unit or a 10 crore unit to be sold, it takes a little bit of a time. There are lesser number of people available for it. So when we look at the number of units, it will be lesser. But overall size that is being sold, it is going to be an effective one. But as I said, keeping a 50%, 55% pure digital strategy, if you have to sell within a window of 2 years, 3 years, it may not be the great strategy. But having said that, if you look at Piramal Mahalakshmi launch, I'm pretty sure if you are keeping your price smarter and in the launch phases, it can actually encompass for 60% of your sales to 70% of the sales as well. Because Piramal Mahalakshmi in a way came out at 3.5 CR kind of an offering. That kind of a ticket size being showcased for an area like Mahalakshmi will have a different kind of attraction altogether on this digital platform. And we will see a great traction on digital as well. So your launches are definitely, you can rely upon your launches in digital space with 40%, 50% of your spend. But in the sustenance phase, you need a lot of support. And those basically, it is not talking about print or anything else, but how you're engaging with CP, how you are creating your content and collaterals. It's a little long-term game compared to for affordable and mid-segment. Affordable mid-segment within 60 days, I believe digital can give great responses. But in luxury, you have to have a little more patience. It will show the numbers for sure. If nothing less than 25 to 30% booking, you can always expect coming in from them.
Right. Thanks. Great. So another popular question that is coming up in the Q&A that I see is also very surprising, I'm sure, to a lot of people, that you are using TikTok as a medium for marketing. You know, TikTok, usually when you look on social media and the memes, it's very looked down upon as a medium.
Absolutely.
Even to do anything, you know. So give us some insights into that how did you think of TikTok? How did you, what kind of target group were you looking at, and how did you execute this TikTok marketing?
Yeah, Aditya, I believe it's a very fascinating platform. Why? Because you got to understand, we are advertisers, right? We have to go, we are the market people, we go where the audiences are. And when TikTok has picked up so well in India, right? You know, right from not just youngsters, even the 40s, 50s guys are showcasing their talents on TikTok. We got to understand that's where the real India is lying today as well. So Ramayana is debuting on Doordarshan again, and it gets 7.7 crore of TRPs, which is in 35 years highest in worldwide, right? Before that, in 1985, US had that phenomena which had 12 crore plus people. But we got to understand the real India lies somewhere there. And when we talk about affordable and the mid segment, these people are those people only, right? So TikTok was definitely a medium which we wanted to try and to reach out to this particular audiences when we were aiming for a ticket size of 25 lakh rupees and below. And that is where we started operating. And we realized that, it is almost competing with the numbers of Facebook to a larger extent. And the responses that we are getting in terms of the seriousness and in the conversion, I believe they have been at par with what we are seeing with Facebook. But these are the initial trends. And the whole idea is simple. That's where the customers are lying. Let's communicate in their way and let's communicate to them where they exactly are. And if it interests them, why not? They will engage with us. So we found those parameters okay for us, and we confirmed with the client. We reached out, and the tractions are pretty great in that format so far.
Yeah, thank you. So I think this is one of a really big insight when it comes to marketing on digital platforms. Like if we can market on something like a TikTok, then sky is the limit when it comes to digital marketing. So coming to my next question, Govind, for someone who is a first-time user of digital marketing, you know, someone who is just starting off and wants to test the waters, may it be a CP or may it even be a developer who has not used this platform before, going forward, what do you suggest are some of the easier ways to market on digital for someone who is just starting off?
Guys, so I'll tell you one thing. It's a very interesting format. Facebook and Google, they have always showcased themselves that they're easy to use, right? It is for those people who want to get started. This also is a misconception also, because at the back end, there's so much of depth into these platforms, which most of the times not everyone can explore. But since they have a certain interfaces which are easy to use, and if you're only in mid-segment, or in affordable. So luxury, as I said, you need multiple platforms, right? You need to have programmatic edge, you need to have native edge, you need to get the right people on board. You cannot just do it on your own. Trust me on that, luxury has to be treated and giving its due respect that it deserves. But in mass segment, in mass and in mid segment, if you want to get started, I believe you can hire an in-house team member who can start with a very basic phenomena of setting up campaign on basic targetings on what can be done on Facebook, make certain communications, play around with it, give certain budgets, and have multiple campaigns running in, see what kind of traction you are coming, and whatever limited level data that is coming to you, if you are able to back it up with the technology at the backend with LMS or CRM, or you are using Excel, try to make sense out of the data. Like, when you did the experiment number 1, this was a communication, this was a price, this is the result. Similarly, for the next 5-7 experiments that you did, and see which is and what is the communication that is working for you. As I said, between affordable and mid segment, Facebook itself, if you get just started, you rest assured you will have a certain traction coming in for sure. Once you have a confidence, you can get the right experienced people on board to execute your Facebook and Google strategies further. But as I said, 80 to 90% of your job can be done and taken care of. Your inventories can be taken care of, no matter how much of a big your layout is. Between these two platforms, if you are in affordable segment, mid segment, there are 1 or 2 more platforms starts entering in form of native, starts doing good. But yeah, that's how the new guys can get started with an in-house capacity itself. Our Google and Facebook, interaction is going to be about just that. That if in case 15-20 minutes we want to give to just that part, that if you are new, how can you get started? The second part of the session would be about if you're already doing it, what you're missing upon.
Right. So, Govind, my next question is picking up from where you left off.
Sure.
Coming to social media marketing.
Right.
Today, we don't. For 3 or 4 years ago, everyone was talking about search engine optimization, search engine marketing,
sure,
and stuff like that. But in the recent past, last 1 or 2 years, I think Facebook, Instagram, and social media marketing has really, really picked up. So do you see, in a way, in the next few years or in the near future, social media marketing taking over from search engine marketing and search engine optimization and stuff like that altogether?
So, Aditya, to be very honest, in today's session, we didn't touch much upon SEO. It was because of the time limitation, which we wanted to touch also with the Google team. To be very honest, SEO is its old ball game, and it is never going to change, right? Social media marketing is great. There are 2 different things. SEO is more about a pull strategy. Customer wants something and then something pops up. Social media marketing is a push strategy, right? Where we want to keep pushing things and a customer maybe do not want it. The future is, one of the limitations that we're going to see in digital is there's so much of competition that is going to come in. In the same catchment area, 5 developers will market same price, right? And maybe their brokers, another 5 brokers each, there will be 25 more people taking the same space. So social media marketing will always have this limitation unless you're not standing out. Your CPLs are always going to be going higher over a period of time, though algorithms are getting better because of that. The costs are coming down. But social, the SEO element of it is something I don't think in coming time it's going away till the time Google search exists. Because people, when they want something, that's the first thing that they go to. And the responses that will come there, which will have always an unparalleled effect compared to what we will see in the SCM side of the strategy. So for any good developer or any good realtor, having a right mix between SEO and SCM is a very important phenomena. So SEO is, I'm saying in a very organic form. I'm not talking about search engine marketing or putting Google ads there, but I'm talking about building up your own YouTube channels, PRs, and different backlinks and stories coming in, so that in normal searches you are continuously appearing. That is the most relevant way to go about it. And in the long-term strategy, SEO should be always an important strategy to carry forward for any real estate developer.
Great, thanks a lot, Govind. My next question is, how do you strike the right balance when you create a creative, for your digital marketing? How do you strike the right balance between content and the technicality aspect? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you strike the right balance between showing the right content and also marketing yourself well? And basically between hard sales and hard marketing, how do you strike the right balance?
So Aditya, here I will give you a very interesting insight where I had to personally unlearn everything that I had learned. Okay, I believe whoever is watching this would find it insightful. So if our journey started out from treating real estate from a creative point of view, and that was the whole idea all about. And when we stumbled upon digital, it changed a lot of things for us. And while doing so, one of the most fascinating experiences and understanding that we had was creativity is good, but if it is not going to the point, and talking about the technicalities, about the homes that we are selling in real estate, it may not be of great use. So creativity used to showcase the technicalities is the best mix that you can actually get. But if you're doing something for a very niche audiences, trust me, the possibilities are it will not reflect well. And in digital marketing, what we are not talking about right now is Facebook and Google have their algorithms to decide how relevant these ads are. So in digital, when we put an ad, it is not that the ad just goes out. Facebook decides that it is relevant or not. We are talking about a real estate ad. They have a particular format to check those image, and they scan the image. If the image has an elevation, building elevation put, that means that that particular image will be pushed more by Facebook, right? The relevance score is what we call it. So if the relevance score is higher, Facebook will push those images. So initial 5 years back, I used to come to the developers and used to say in print ad, why do you want to put your elevations here? Let's not put it. I still say the same on the print ads, but at times when it's needed, you got to do.
You say it to me all the time.
I know that. But in digital, we beg to differ. Digital, showcase your elevation, showcase your amenities, because more you make it relevant, that, because it's a very small ad space, right? People should connect in one go that, oh, it's something to do with real estate. Don't shy away from making your price look bigger, making your 2 BHK or 3 BHK look a little bigger. Don't go for too much of minimalism. We have tried, tested all the kind of formats. Trust me on that. The most effective on digital are where, you are looking like a real estate guy. Don't shy away from it. In print, it's a different ballgame though. So yeah, creating a mix between creativity and technicalities is where the real solution lies to grab the right attention.
Right. I think this session is taking shape really well. I think I'll take a last couple of questions.
Sure.
According to you, I wouldn't say limitations, but what would you think are the few things you need to look out for so that your campaign on digital marketing does not fail? So I wouldn't say limitations, but what would you be careful of before running a campaign on digital marketing so you make sure that it doesn't fail?
So I believe one thing that I mentioned, you make sure that you are sustaining the effort, right? Most of the times you lose heart, and it's dangerous. Because once you pause the campaign, then you kick in again, the whole settings goes for a change and the seamlessness gets discontinued. So that's one thing that you have to take care of. Second thing, if you're not optimizing the campaign, so Facebook and Google is not about your, I've put the details, now it will keep churning leads. No, it doesn't happen that way. As I said, there are multiple wells across Mumbai. You have to target the first well first in one set of settings. Then you have to target the second well. You have to keep exploring the different wells. All the kuas that are possible, right, or the ponds that are possible, hit them hard. Till the time you are very sure that this pond is not meant for me. So you are selling in, your project in Khar, a pond in Virar will not be any help of you. So don't market there. But you should know for your local catchment area of Bandra will always be the right audience. But you got to understand there are only 100 frogs. You have reached out to those 100 frogs already again and again and again. That means now your campaign will get ineffective. So Bandra, you are somewhere exhausting. So maybe change the communication, maybe change the channel, maybe change the pond altogether, the well altogether, but reach out to different kind of audiences. So the second thing, as I said, if you want to make your campaign successful, iterate. It's very important that you keep iterating, you keep changing. We prefer doing it daily basis. A few places we have seen, we previously used to do weekly basis. Now to make it more effective, and that's the reason our numbers, we always want to keep the best one. So we optimize on almost on daily basis. There's a separate team doing the same every day in terms of communication, in terms of settings every day.
Right. I think I'll take the last question, and this is one that confuses me often as well.
Sure.
When you think about YouTube, we usually think that it's such an expensive medium to advertise on. And you also said that we need to, of course, when you run your own YouTube channel, you do it, and you try to increase your subscribers and followers as much as possible. But how effective do you think YouTube is in today's day and age when we have Instagram, Facebook, and all the Twitter and all these other social media platforms where we can market videos as well? How important do you think YouTube is?
See, let's break it down into two forms. One is video as a content for marketing, and one is as a platform, YouTube, right? So to be very honest, YouTube over a period of time has evolved, but we got to understand in real estate, whenever that we do any campaign, our objectives are always lead generation. And YouTube, as of yet, is still experimenting the same, where in YouTube medium itself, the lead generation can really take place in real time. They are experimenting it. So the problem is with real estate developers, they want, as marketers ourselves, we want a result in real time, right? We do not have the long windows to wait for, before. If we wait a lot of time, we'll be getting short. Trust me, we'll be having hell of a time. We'll not be able to sleep. We need numbers. So YouTube is not the kind of a platform which gives leads in real time, but as a platform to build awareness. So as I said, for luxury, it's a great space to be in. You have your home shot in the most exotic manner, put it with the right tags, put it in the right way. There's so many views that you can garner. We have done those experiments in the luxury spaces and we have garnered good traction, and the leads start coming from those, but it takes its own sweet time. So as I said, YouTube as a medium for luxury works well. For everything else, it will work well, but it will take its time. It's not real time. That's the reason it's not part of our regular strategies. But as a content, the video format is amazing, right? When I say TikTok, it's working well. In terms of the same videos we are using in WhatsApp marketing nowadays. The most interesting phenomena that is going to happen out of COVID is OTT platforms, right? Your Hotstars, your Voot, you can reach out to your customers in no time on these OTT platforms as well, and can aim for a great awareness within a blink of an eye. But conversions is still a little far a game in the video content space.
So I think I'm done with my questions. I'll take a few questions from our members. The question and answer group is blowing up. So one very common question, I think a lot of people would like to know your thoughts on this, being in the industry for the last 10 years, is what do you see the market, where do you see the market going post-COVID?
So I have I believe my own analysis done here. I believe that, one thing that we all have realized in this 60 days of lockdown, that there's no asset like a home that anyone can, own on the planet Earth. So already the reports are in US markets, right, where already the application for home buying has already seen a surge of 12%, previous quarter, say, comparison. So that is something that we have already witnessing in US counterparts. In India as well, in the long run, which maybe 2 or 3 quarters down the line, this impact will start showing. We do not know when the COVID situation will end, and by the time how economically, the country is going to be placed. But for sure, if, as I said, if there are 100 buyers, we may have 50. There will be buyers for sure. We will have a little tough time to lure them and to compete with the competitors to close the booking, which will have its impact on the customer acquisition cost also for the next 2 to 3 quarters. But I believe 2021 onwards, the real impact of the positivity towards home having it as an asset is really going to show in, because among all the things, this is one thing that got proven in this lockdown. There's if you had a 2 BHK, you would want a 3 BHK. If you had a 1 BHK, you should aim for a 2 BHK. If you're on a rented home, you would want your own home, because there's nothing else. There's no medicine, as we keep saying, that in this outbreak there was, apart from having your own home. So there will be a good time, but it will take 2 to 3 quarters from where we are looking at things.
Right. So another question that's popping up, I see 2 or 3 people have asked this question, is that you didn't say anything about LinkedIn. So throw some light on that.
So to be very honest, guys, LinkedIn is picking up quite well. It has not been a direct lead generation platform for any of the strategies, apart from luxury space. Luxury space, you have, it's always the 4th or 5th preferred stage for us right now, because programmatic and native, are one of the preferred one, apart from Facebook, Google that we do. So it comes at 5th position for us, because we have seen in LinkedIn marketing, as of now, the results not at par in terms of the cost per lead. Though the qualities are great, but the cost per leads are way higher, which at times we are not able to substantiate into our strategies. But going forward, I believe the number of changes that they are doing, we're experimenting on those trends as well in the luxury spaces, going with One Avigna and Spenta, to be very honest. But the trends are still not there out with us, and that's the reason not a lot of impetus has been put on LinkedIn yet. But as a platform, it has a lot of strategies. Its algorithms are getting revised and improved over a period of time. We are waiting for it. Once it starts showing result, definitely we will be talking more about it.
Right. So I see our president has a question. He says, can you give us the 5 most important points how we can negotiate with Facebook and Google to get the best rates and get better CPLs?
Okay, so I believe nowadays what they're doing that Facebook and Google both are open all the time. Trust me on that. That's the conversation that we have had as their partners. They are ready to make sure that they're able to give and pass on the training to the respective teams, not with only the agency partners, but for the developers also. Facebook and Google are continuously addressing and creating events for real estate. So that the real estate people can come in, and the training sessions are being given all across India. Bombay and Delhi, these sessions happen quite a regular, twice in a year. And in terms of the negotiation, to be very honest, once the team is understanding, it is not about the negotiation always. The thing is here, if you understand the platform well, if you are able to optimize it, there's invariably nothing cheaper than Facebook and Google right now. Right? We are doing few campaigns right now where we're getting a lead at 200 rupees for our inventory of 1 crore, 1.5 crore, right? What cheaper than this that things can go? So as I said, it is all about how do we use the platform well. That's very important on Facebook and Google. And to make that happen, they are ready to train, and they continuously keep training our teams, us. And we have been told that we can engage now with real estate developers as well. And that's what we're trying to do with MCHI. If things go well with this next sessions, we will have more such sessions created with them.
So if you permit me, Preetham and Aditya, Govind, you see,
Yes.
what I see is that there is a great distance between the sales team that is currently there with majority of the developers and their digital marketing or digital adaptation capability.
Yes.
So it's like I have a wonderful car, but I don't know how to drive it.
I get it. Yeah.
So how can we have a series of training sessions, maybe from you, maybe from other digital people of Facebook, Google, in a very structured manner,
Sure.
over the next 3 to 4 months, where the takeaway could be that 90% of the sales team which is there in our industry, has the basics of digital. That is my first request as CREDAI-MCHI. Second is, what would be the most 5 important takeaways from you, or 5 most important things that you would say in the entire thing? Okay, these are the most 5 important things. So these are my 2 questions, Govind. Thank you, Aditya. Thank you, Preetham.
Sure. So 5 most important things in terms of, if you could just elaborate.
Like everything, on digital marketing. Like
Okay.
So that.
Sir, for the first question of yours, I believe the responsibility lies in the hands of the leaders. Based from where I'm coming from, I believe there's 2 things we have to understand as the way they are. So there's a thing called making your company digitized, and one thing is going digital. We got to understand they're not same things. They're 2 different things, right? Getting digitized is their internet is not one important force, but getting digital internet is a very important force. So why there are 2 different things? Your marketing team or your digital team will generate the leads, but how they are being taken into the funnel, into the particular software that you're using or the CRM system that you're using, and how strictly you're making sure that all the sales representative are not taking any shortcuts and are making sure that they are filling all the details, as much of them, on the platforms, and that platform is ready to give you actionable insights. Now, there are 3 stages which I explained. The digital team generating the leads, your team, you are forcing them to use the platform in the right manner, fill all the details possible, and then the platform should be ready to give you insights. When these 3 things are happening simultaneously, what happens here is you have the car and you are making sure that there's a driver who's driving it, because your digital marketing team can drive it. But other people who are sitting, they can also learn and be in sync with him by ensuring that they are in the car and they are doing everything that is needed, which is needed for a hygiene to be maintained, to run a good digital marketing campaign and to create the right lead funnels. So when that is happening, you will see a huge amount of sync all across between the digital marketeers, between the sales team and the response system, because this sales and marketing forces are actually connected. Keeping them separate as 2 different divisions is not the future. The future is making sure that these 2 phenomena and domains are coming together as one, and they're taking insights from each other. So sales team tells that, boss, this is the insight we got. The customer came from this angle. Why don't you start your campaign in this particular catchment area also? We saw this insight that people, with they are people from Tamil Nadu. They are approaching. Why don't you open a specific targeting and you use Tamil as a language to market yourself? So these insights from sales and marketing will form a circle and will do effective will fetch effective results. The second question you asked with regards to what are the 5 important things you have to keep in
Govind,
Yes.
what we wanted was a specific class to this.
I will ensure, sir.
Yeah. So how do we have people from Facebook, Google, coming and training the sales team is what I want is. Right?
So I will ensure that invariably Facebook and Google have given their approvals in terms of they will be joining us on the date that we close now in the next week, Monday to Wednesday, anytime. And we will even talk to LinkedIn and TikTok team if needed for them to do the session. And one of the sessions we will create from making sure that how do we ensure that all the processes between sales and marketing can get automated. So we'll get the right people from this domain also who will be representing their technologies as well, and few people who can weave it together and conduct a few sessions around this on this particular platform. So we will arrange it within the next coming week itself, and we'll do the sessions.
Thank you, Govind. Now the 5 most important things.
Yes, sir. So for us, I believe the five most important things are one thing, as I said, know your target audiences well. Keep your communication very stark. Do not confuse yourself. Do not confuse people. The third part is do not forget to read between the data. Do not undermine it. Do not just try to understand at the superficial level. Try to see the very fine insights of it. The fourth part, as I said, keep optimizing the communication based on the responses. In terms of which catchment areas are doing good, in terms of what is the feedback that is coming in from each and every call that you are making. The call centers and the digital marketeers should always be connected. In the real time, you can actually get the feedbacks once they're making the calls to your leads so that you can optimize your campaigns. And the fifth part is always be in touch with your sales team. That's a very important phenomena for every marketer. Don't just run the campaigns on your own, believing that this is what you believe is good or this is the data that you're reading. The sales team on the ground, they have a great amount of insight because they're interacting with the customers in real time. They will have a lot more discoveries. Try to use those discoveries to accelerate your sales and your digital marketing game plan. So this will be the 5 alignments from my end I would give, sir.
All right. Thanks, Govind. I think we'll take up one last question that I have. And this question reads, what is the CRM platform that you found very effective for developers to have good integration between all digital platforms? So basically, I would interpret this question as, all CRMs are customizable, as we all know. So basically what I would ask you is, how do we best customize our CRMs and to monitor our digital marketing campaigns in the best possible way,
You saved me. Taking the names have been a little difficult. This is the right question, actually. So guys, whenever that you're looking out for CRM, as I explained, multi-touch attribution, you should always remember that if your platform or CRM, what kind of insights they are giving. So yes, it is very important whether your platform is handling cloud telephony well or not, so that you can run virtual, many virtual numbers and get data from all the platforms. So cloud telephony is important. Of course, user interface, it's something which is very personal, what you believe, what your team likes it. But the third part, which is the most important part, is how it is interpreting the data. And how it is putting, how much of data that it is ready to give you and how it is structuring the data to give you a better output is the real requirement. Most of the CRM that we have seen in India right now, to be very honest, there's a huge scope of improvisation into this space because of course, US is also struggling with the same. And this is one of the articles that I read day before, where there's a huge demand for filling so many need gaps. So customization, when you say, yes, improvise, talk to your CRM guys and improvise towards the data implementation of it, because the insights are very raw. It is not that, what you can do on Excel. If the same insights are coming on your CRM, there's a certain problem with the CRM. right? So the interpretation that you can fetch from Excel, if the same thing is there, there's something which is wrong. See to it how many data inputs can come. Are you tracking the customer's behavior is in any way with any of your interfaces, your channel partners' behavior and your engagement with them? Are those things automated? So these things are going to be playing a very important parameter over a period of time. The CRM space is going to evolve a lot in the next 2 to 3 years, is from where we see it. And based on whichever CRM that you're dealing with, right now try to explore these opportunities with them to make your platform more robust and technologically ready for the times to come.
Thanks, Govind. Thanks. I think we can sum up the session over here, and I'm sure our members were really happy to have you on the webinar today. Everyone has had great insights into digital marketing. We look forward to your next few sessions where we'll be trained in even deeper into the digital marketing platform. I would like Preetham sir to say a couple of words, maybe, before we end the session.
I have a MCHI call, so formally also wish to thank you on behalf of everybody, and as discussed, we'll take it further. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, everyone, for giving me the opportunity.
Thanks, Govind. Thanks, Govind. Fantastic, great insights into this session. I think digital marketing is something which is very, has a lot of depth in it, and you brought out a lot of facets of that depth today in a short while. Like Aditya mentioned, through the session that we wish to conduct with you next week, hopefully we'll get to the depth of a few more things, and will benefit our members. Thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot, Aditya. Fantastic. Good to see you. And that what's under the cap needs to be known.
Yeah, that's probably for a private call,
Yeah, take care, all of you. See you soon.
Thanks to all our members also once again for logging on to our webinar. Thank you, and looking forward to see you guys again for our next few sessions. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye. Bye.